everyone. So first of all, this is our YTT Talks. Today, we welcome our speaker, Dr. Preeti Saxena ma'am. She is the director of ICFI Business School. So welcome ma'am, and we are very fortunate to have you over here. So before we start, I would like to tell the audience what YTT Talks is. So YTT Talks full form is Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow Talks. Education and learning are nothing without discipline and productivity in life. MBA colleges focus on the academics, but the mental and physical health is equally important. YTT talks about the social well-being. In this theme, faculties and students will come ahead and share their life lessons, some motto they abide to, or some principles they believe in. Every person's life journey is almost entirely subjective, which means it is a person's perception of their satisfaction in life, perceived self efficiency, autonomy, and self actualization. YTT talks about what matters the most. It is the body you live in and the experience you encounter throughout your life that shapes you as a person. So, welcome, ma'am.
It's always nice to connect with my students, and when students are interviewing you, it feels so good, that uh, the students are putting questions to you, uh, not the questions which would be in the class, based on the syllabus, but it's always a pleasure to listen to the students, know from them what's happening around, and that is what keeps you updated.
With everything being shifted online, we know how difficult has time management become. But on the other hand, we see you appearing for all the club events. It would be great if you can give us your insight on how exactly you manage your time with such great efficiency.
I personally, I don't know whether I manage my time well or not, but definitely I have one thing in mind is that I would not want to sleep till I have completed my day's job. Everybody tells me, that you can't complete your day's job, so leave something for the next day. But I would feel very comfortable to go to bed only when I have done my day's job. So I would start with the previous evening when before sleeping, I would just run through mentally, make my mental notes before sleeping that the next day, these are the things that I want to do. And the next morning when I get up, I would get up around 6:30. These days it's 6:30. Otherwise, I would get up a little early. These days, 6:30 is good because you're not traveling. And then when I have my cup of tea, which I make myself, and that is the time when I write down everything that is to be done for the day. So it's like a Dobie's list, which I'm preparing, and it's a checklist that I have to put a tick in the evening, what I have done and how much has been left over or how much is getting spilled to the next day. However, as I said that I would want to do it that very day. In that, when I'm making those notes, I have my mental calculations, that this particular task is going to take me this kind of time, and I cannot give more than this time to an activity. So I would do some time allocation based on the kind of activities on hand. Sometimes it may happen that all things are not done by you, and you would be depending on others. So you may be dependent on them to get back with responses. That's the time when I would utilize to catch up with something else. So when I'm planning my day, I'm also planning activities which can be done while somebody else is responding, and work towards that. And sometimes it may happen that I'm required to stretch myself a little bit. But as I told you, uh, stretching does not give you that kind of stress, which if you don't complete the task would be more stressful. So this is how I work on activities, and I have an excellent team of people around me who also keep, they'll keep a track of things to be, attended to, completed. So I have wonderful, assistant like Jacinta or Rakhi. They are beautiful ladies, and They would send me, the reminder messages that this is pending, has to be done. So even if something that I'm missing out would be, they would draw my attention, and I'm able to cope with. So I would not say that I'm very perfect, but with me, I have a whole lot of people who are more perfect than me, and they do come back to me with their small help and reminders, and that's how I have been completing my tasks.
Ma'am, do you feel that social media steals the time on learning and is prominent barrier for effective time management?
So I would definitely say that it's a medium which is very easy, a medium which can lead you to multiple other platforms, and it's a thread which will keep spinning, and you don't know where you are getting entangled into it. So it's always better that you have a time attached to it, and you should stop at that. And then if you chance upon something which is interesting, make a note of it and refer to it some other time.
I feel this is something which all the students are going to start thinking about because we as students spend most of our time on social media. Thank you so much. So now we know that discipline is the key. Now, as even the institutions are changing on a global level, do you believe that choice of study discipline introduced by the government will be helpful for us as students?
Yeah. See, this being a new introduction, we do not have any data to back up, whether it's going to be successful or not. However, I think that it has been very well researched, and then this particular new format of education is going to be rolling out. And with this, I do see that the changing times, and I would call it to be, the kind of socio-cultural impact that today it has on education, which I think this new pattern will give the child that maturity, and he or she will be able to perform better in terms of knowledge and wisdom coming together.
Now, students can focus on their individual strengths and achieve greater heights. Since you addressed productivity, and a lot of us didn't know what to do with plentiful of time in our hand during this lockdown, can you hand our viewers few tips on how to be productive in such circumstances?
I I have personally felt that this has been a time when people can do a lot of introspection. And when you do introspection without the distractions and disturbances of external, uh, I would say, I would not say people in a derogatory sense, but I would say, this was more like a meditative phase, for a lot of us. So you were alone, you were confined to the house, you were captive. And a lot of things come, when you are captive, because that's the time when your energies converge. The energies converge onto objectives, energies converge onto being creative, and there will be something that can compel you to do things differently because you want to break the monotony of being in the house confined. So I felt that this was a time when a lot of us became very creative in whatever we did. Some of us even pursued our interests, whether it was singing or it was dancing or it was cookery, and I could see, a lot of young boys and girls, getting into the kitchen and trying out new dishes. Or, some people started recording their own songs, which they sang and they recorded and they shared with friends. And people realized that no, we can sing, which otherwise was not happening. And I mean, I felt that this captivity was what something that made people go over things that could be more creative and they could do a lot more. So I'm saying that whether it was out of compulsion or it was something that propelled you to do, but people did become productive in realizing their own potential, their own talents, as I would say, their own talents. And they said, let's try, which otherwise they did not have time to do. So they were so much in the rut, the rut of doing things, and maybe it was students reaching to their colleges. That itself took away a lot of their productive time, which was spent very unproductively, maybe in the public transport or while they were on the road. This time they could utilize to actually do introspection and identify their own talents and see that can they take it further. People have caught up with a lot of pending readings, some things that you, and I'm sure all of us have heard so many webinars. Now if we feel that those webinars have added to our intellectual capital, so whatever we had in terms of our knowledge for this thing, but listening to people within the country, within your city and globally, it gave you so much of perspective. And I think all this is productivity. In some way or the other, we'll realize that, in these days, if we lost out on being, in touch with people, we also gained a lot individually. And that is because we were captive, confined to the homes.
Thank you, ma'am. So, can we say that when we are more productive, then we are more happy? And what is that you do that keeps you smiling on each and every occasion? Because there is never a time we have encountered you without a smile on your face.
See, I think productivity itself gives you a sense of achievement. It would have a lot of positive vibes that it gives you, that you've utilized your resources well, you've utilized your time well, you have got results and output which is more than what you expected. And when that happens, it's human nature that you are maximizing your own capability. So there is a feeling of contentment, there is a feeling of a balance between you and your inner self, and you feel that yes, you are worthy. You are worthy of doing things which is within your capacity or even beyond your capacity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Those were beautiful words. So, with the entire education system transformed online, how was it like managing and coping up with this change? And Ideas Mumbai has done around 15 to 20 virtual events, talent events. What are your inputs on that as well?
It was initially a big load and a task which was entrusted onto the faculty. And I realized, that I think this is the time when we need to empower everyone. The moment the faculty members are empowered to do things, the load which they are feeling would be minimized, and they would find the ease of doing things. So the first thing that we did was that let's make it all decentralized. Let's not hold everything, that only when you get permission from here, you get clearances from here, then you. So can we empower people to do things themselves? And when I did that, with the faculty members, there was so much that was happening suddenly, because each one had, they had so much of space to work around. They had so much of and I would say, the kind of exchange of ideas among the faculty members themselves, and it spilled over to the students. So when the faculty members started connecting with the students, the collective inputs that came from the students and from the faculty together, there was so much that we had on our plate, and we said that it cannot be done in a day. Let us prepare a timetable. Let us do it every evening, and let us give a chance. So we realized that there was so much talent in the students, and by curbing, by saying that no, there will be only so many entries and there will be so many entries, it can be expand the window. So let's stretch the window to a period of 20 days, 25 days, but let us give a chance to everyone. And in that we could get such a large, I'll say the size of the pie increased. The students could contribute so much, and for me it was just, that I had to just step in, and the students had a basket of things that they could do, and I was like, if given a chance to all of them, they would do so much more rather than me telling them or anyone else telling them, that this is what you do. Leave it to the students. They have a lot in them and they will do a much better task. So that faith was there in the students, the faith in the students that they are not going to mess around. They are not going to, they are only looking at a platform. So what we need to do is we just need to provide a platform and they'll handle it themselves. So everything was done by the students. Everything was done by the students. My little presence there gave them a feeling that yes, the audience over there care for them. That was the only thing. So I decided that yes, I will be a part of the audience and I would want to see what each one can do. And that's how I think we did. We could do that, as I told you, that we could do it over a period of time. So about 20-25 days we gave to the student club activities, and with the faculty support and student coordinators, there was so much of talent that came out from the students. I think the key was the freedom and faith.
Before we close in on the session, we would like to request you any parting advice you would like to give our audience.
I would want to meet all my students on campus. I want everyone to be healthy. And when they come to Mumbai, they should come with the best of the immunity in themselves so that nothing can touch them, or, they will all be here with us and we will be able to do lot many things in person. And that is where health is going to be very, very important. So we need to take care and behave responsibly towards ourselves as well as others.
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Preeti Saxena ma'am for coming and joining us and giving us such an insightful Sunday talk, and the YTT audience and IBS Mumbai for giving us this opportunity.
I must thank Avni and Aditya, along with Professor Priyanka Dhingra and Mayank Ranjan, for arranging for this kind of a conversation. And I hope if any of these things can help someone, I'll be more than happy.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.